Doug and I met up at the town's famous eatery, Zachary's, and over breakfast swapped tales of mind control conspiracies and UFO high weirdness. After a couple hours of spirited conversation, Doug suggested that we visit his aforementioned source, to whom he had made many a reference throughout the course of our correspondence, which included stunning revelations regarding a worldwide Illuminati conspiracy engineered by none other than 60s screen starlet Tuesday Weld. That's from Tiffany Overtakes Tuesday Weld by Adam Gorightly with Douglas Hawes in Secret Suppressed 2 Banned Ideas and Hidden History into the 21st Century, edited by Adam Parfrey and Ken Thomas. That's a Feral House book. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. Very quickly, just so you know that I am willing to give credit where credit is due, and I do not just universally bash and pummel people. Obama said that he wanted to move in the direction of more nuclear power, and he is set to announce a loan guarantee program for a couple of new nuclear power plants in Georgia, I guess is where they're going to be built. And he wants to actually increase the loan guarantee program for more nuclear power plant construction. So it's much too little, okay? It's way, way, way too short of a mark where I would put it, but I have to give him credit for actually doing something that he said he was going to do. Now, of course, it can all fall apart, okay? But he said he was going to do something, and he did it. Two things that don't ever go together with President Obama. I'm stunned. But if it ends up happening and we get, you know, these two new power plants and maybe some more with loan guarantees, and he wants to actually, you know, get some more money into that program, then kudos to him. Great job. Keep it up. All right. Now, I see also that Evan Bayh is dropping out. He's not going to run for a third term. Now, this is another blow for the Democrats. Okay. Now, Evan Bayh is saying that he doesn't want to run because of all the rancor, you know, from the so-called right, interfering and making Obama's agenda so politicized and so difficult to achieve. In other words, he's an Obama zombie, I suppose. And he can't do any kind of work under those sort of conditions, which leads me to believe that pretty soon, you know, they'll be categorizing and labeling anybody who's anti-Obama as being, you know, out and out hate-filled racist, murderer, Holocaust denier, everything else. And this brings me to the major point of what I want to talk about, and that is, with Evan Bayh dropping out and using the language that he is, taken with the several years of do nothing congressional action from a democratically controlled Congress, the death of John Murtha, and the continued lack of any kind of focus from the so-called left, that is the so-called Democrats, I had originally thought that perhaps there would have been some motion by this group by this time so that they would cement their position and they could then gut, rape, and destroy this country the soft and easy way of the left, the so-called left, and the so-called Democrats. They do it the soft and easy way. They ease you into it by gradually taking away everything you've ever worked for in your entire life. They gradually slide you into no health care, loss of your Social Security, Medicare slashed to the bone. They ease you in there. So I thought that maybe there would have been some action by now where the Democrats would have been setting themselves up to continue that easing in of their pummeling of the United States, their destruction of the United States, and their continued selling off of everything in this country, while at the same time propping up the only thing we have left, and that is derivatives and financial transactions, which sooner or later has to come back to haunt us. But instead, with the do-nothing Congress, controlled by the Democrats, which have been in power for years and have done absolutely nothing for people, families, those losing their homes, they've done nothing for any of those people. Oh, sure, they've given trillions of dollars to banks so that they can keep betting more and more with their derivatives and make more money on top of that. But not a penny for you. No help, no real help. Go look at any of these programs that they passed. See the pittance of money that was put in there in the first place. And see just how much it's actually helped people. And you'll find out very quickly that there's no help to be had there. So, I've now come to the other conclusion, and that is that the Democrats have been specifically doing nothing and acting like idiots, morons, imbeciles, and retards for the express purpose of bringing the radical right into power. Now, what's the difference between the so-called radical right and the so-called left Democrats? I'll tell you. The only difference is that the Democrats ease you in to your death. The radical right will just outright pummel you. So, whatever is left of the industrial base of this country will be dismantled, will be sold, and there will be continuous bailouts for banks and financial institutions, even as your home is foreclosed, you're thrown out on the street, and you lose your job. Yes, indeed. Whether from the left or the right. Of course, you might feel a little bit better because the Democrat will ease and slide you into it very nice and smoothly, whereas the person on the right, the so-called Republican, the so-called rightist, will just come right out and snatch your home and kick you in the ass when you're flying out the door. That's the only difference, my friends. That's the only difference between the two. And if you swing that pendulum back again, as so many people do, back and forth, get someone you don't like in there, go to the other party, think you're getting something different. Well, I've told you countless times that there's no two-party system in this country. There's only one party. That's the corporate party, okay? And the agenda is driven by the corporate masters. End of discussion. Same on the left, same on the right. There's no difference between the two, except for the easing in and the outright pummeling that you're going to get from the right. So whatever assets are left, they're going to be gone. Our country is going to be dismantled and destroyed. Do not despair, because there is still time to take action and to do things. There is time to get politically active. There is time to demand change. There is time to organize. There is time to write letters. There is time to phone. There is time to email. There is time to do all of these things that we should have been doing for 25 or 30 years. Now, I'm sure some of you out there watching my videos may have been doing this for 25 or 30 years, and I say, God bless you, I really do. and I thank you for your long involvement and for your continued involvement and for not giving up, because there is hope. I see it. I see it in the amount of people who are finally starting to do something, not just bitch and complain and talk to their friends about it, but taking action. I see it more and more and more by people becoming interested in what's going on in politics, whereas before they didn't have a clue. So I see great hope, and I still hold out that 2010 is going to be a great year. It's going to be a decisive year in one way or another. You can bank on it. Thank you.